grinder mentality. I grind for the feeling. I'm a real ass nigga. These niggas, they counterfeit it. Staying true to my religion, they thinking that I'm a Christian. Mama thinking I'm a villain, but I'm expressing my feelings.
Yo, welcome back to the Rich Mentality Podcast. What's good, y'all? It's always good to hear from my good people. Always good to be tuned in with y'all, man, because y'all are so supportive, man, and I definitely appreciate that. But what's good, man? Drop in the comments. Let me know how y'all been doing. Drop in the comments. Let me know if there's been anything new, any new books, any new courses, anything that can help somebody get some money. But what's good, man? And you know, I want to start this podcast off right today, man. Like, I gotta give a big RIP, right? And I hate to, give a shout out in the RIP form, but RIP to Kevin Samuels, man. RIP to Kevin Samuels. A lot of people, disliked him for, I guess you would say, arguably his discomfort, to men, in between men and women. People call it a controversial way of thinking when it comes to relationships, marriages, things like that. But at the end of the day, man, this is an individual who passed away. He's dead. He is gone, right? And I don't care if somebody was talking about, running around butt naked, jumping off bridges. If they're dead, man, they're dead. Don't talk about the man who cannot defend themselves, right? And to be honest, a lot of the things that he spoke on, I actually agree with. Just being real, to whom it may offend, may you not be a part of this podcast, but for me, I definitely rock with Kevin Samuels. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he was a bad individual. I think that he was straightforward, direct, and unfortunately, a lot of people don't like it. And unfortunately, speaking to women, sometimes in our culture, and even others, but just in our culture, a lot of people don't like when a black man speaks direct, firm. We become abrasive, we become aggressive, we become, an individual who speaks out of hate versus speaking of intelligence. And I don't think that, any of the things that he said was pretty much wrong, and in fact, if a lot of people do their research, he was speaking towards men, right, for 3 years. He spoke towards men for 3 years. The numbers don't lie. And what I mean by the numbers don't lie is, number one, a lot of the places where he got his information from came from blackdemographics.com, right? And then number two, he spoke to women he spoke to men the same way he spoke to women, and the numbers didn't, it never really impacted or, went up exponentially the way it did when he was speaking in regards to women. But, I'm definitely not going to be the dead horse on that. I just want to, give a big RIP, man, to Kevin Samuels, right? With that being said, man, I'm always tuned in with my people, man. It's no disrespect to anyone who follows me, who respects me, and who stays tuned in to my content. I'm always trying to be respectful, especially to the people who are respectful to me and the people who are supporting me as well. But I had to do that, So with that being said, man, I definitely want to get directly into it. But before, man, we move forward, I got to keep y'all updated with the TikTok. You know what I'm saying? So with the TikTok, right, we are now at 41,000 followers on my personal page, right? So on my personal page, we pretty much is just getting down and just deep into the positive motivation, man. It's straight positive motivation, but it's in every crevice, right? So I do touch on relationships, I touch on marriage, I touch on income, I touch on jealousy, envy, friends, family, making it out of hard times, hardships, adversity. I speak on it all. And the reason why is because you never know who you are going to touch. You never know who you're going to touch. Some people, they need that. Some people needs to hear a person's voice and say, look, man, I believe in you, right? Look, baby, I believe that you're beautiful. Look, Miss Lady, I think that I know that you will succeed. I know that you're going to get through this, right? And what that does is, it impacts people. And, glory be to God. Glory be to God. I've been impacting people with my platform. Now we're at 41K. The ultimate goal is to, bring those supporters over to this podcast as well, because you know we're bigger than just only, you know, on one platform. You know, I definitely want this thing to expand beyond measures. You know, I want this thing to expand beyond measure. So with that being said, I just want, if anyone who's on my TikTok that tuned into this podcast, I want to let you know I appreciate you for making this thing big. And, you know, we're going to get all those supporters, man, and people and family members, you know, people who actually support the Rich Mentality podcast, the Rich Mentality brand. You know, we're going to get everybody over here, whether it takes 5 weeks or 5 months or 5 years, but we're gonna get everybody that's tuned in. Hopefully it don't take 5 years, right? But you know what I'm saying, we gonna get everybody that's tuned in. You know, we trying to change the world. We changing lives. We impacting the world, impacting lives, right? It's not about the money. It's impact over income. Impact over income. The more you impact, the more income will come, right? It says in the scripture that the wealthy man is a man who serves all. The wealthy man is the man who serves all. So once you decide to stop being, you know, a borrower to the lender, then you'll change your life. You know, once you decide to stop, you know what, I'm not going to be the borrower. I'm tired of being the person who has to take out a loan, who has to ask somebody for money, who has to borrow something. Let's change that direction. Let's change that trajectory. Let's be the individual, you know, who lends. Right? Let's put ourselves in a different perspective, in a different position. It's time, right? It's time. And with that being said, it's your season. And the reason why I say it's your season is because you got fall, you got winter, right? You got spring, you know, and you got summer. You know what I'm saying? You got all these different seasons. And just like the universe has seasons, us as individuals, we have seasons. We have seasons when people come in our lives. We have seasons when people leave our lives. We have seasons when we have a lot of money. We have seasons when, you know, we looking for our next dollar, right? We gotta scrap up change and, you know, get to it so we can take care of our responsibilities, our families, and et cetera, et cetera. So what I'm saying is that it's your season. It's time for you to switch and change your life. And what I mean by that is you got to make some changes. In order for you to see, it's already ordained for what you want to get. It's already ordained, right, for what God has for you. What God has for you is already for you. It's already for you, right? What God has for you, can't nobody take it. Can't nobody manipulate it. Can't nobody make you say this, and, you know, can't nobody trick you out of it. It's already wrapped up in the present with a bow on top. It's already wrapped up, you know, in present form with a bow on top. What do I mean by that? It's already set aside for you. It got your name on it. I don't care who's fighting for it. I don't care who's competing for it. I don't care who's running up against you. I don't care, right? So with that being said, it's your season. Now, as you know, grow into this person, and, you know, you're being prepared to be in this position, you got to go through some steps. And one step is your environment. One step is your environment. So with that being said, is your environment productive? Right? Is your environment productive? And what I mean by being productive is, do you put yourself in the environment to where you can produce? Are you in an environment where you can produce, create something, make something, you know, get something back for doing something, not just getting something back for doing nothing? And I think that's what's wrong with, you know, our culture, just people in general, right? We're not in productive environments, because whatever environment you are in, that's what's going to reflect you. Right? So if you are in an environment where people are just hanging around, they bums, you know, and I got to keep it 100. Like, I got to be real. People just hanging around, they bums, they just chilling, they not really doing too much, yada, yada, yada. Okay, well, that's what's more than likely going to reflect you. That's what's going to reflect you. So what is your environment like, right? So is it productive? Or is it counterproductive? All right, so number 2, is it positive? Now, I'm not sitting here telling you got to become a whole full-fledged Christian. You got to be, you know, in religion. You got to do this. You got to do that. You got to just look at the sun every day. You got to just sit down and just, you know, positive. No, it's not about that. But what I mean by positive are you thinking the right things? Because your thoughts control your emotions control your actions, right? You got to realize that what you think about is how you're gonna become. The things that you think about, when you have a thought in your mind, it's gonna automatically either detour or put your mind in a certain emotion, or put your body, or the way you feel in a certain emotion. Like, have you ever just thought about something, and as you're thinking, it starts to make you feel feel sad, feel some type of way? Well, that same thing happens or occurs when you start thinking about something that's positive. Have you ever just thought about what you're gonna cook when you get home? Thought about where you're gonna go, with your girlfriend, with your boyfriend, with your husband, with your wife, whoever, with your kids. The way it make you feel. You gotta think positive thoughts. You gotta think. You gotta see the good in the bad. So what I'm saying is your environment positive? Are you around people who are pessimistic? Right? This wise quote once stated: "A cynic is not one who looks at the past bitterly, but he is one who prematurely is disappointed in the future." Right? And what that means is that this particular individual, this cynic or this pessimist, don't look in the past at their transgressions or the lessons that they should have learned, but what they do is they automatically look in the future and they're disappointed. So with that being said, are you around people who are pessimists, or are you around people who are optimistic? Right? You got to put yourself around these type of individuals. So another thing I will elaborate on: when you are in these environments, sometimes if you're around negative people, if you are around an environment that's counterproductive, you're gonna have to isolate. Isolation equals elevation. Sometimes you gotta isolate yourself so you can grow, right? So when you put a shark in the ocean, it can grow past 20 feet. It can grow up to 20 feet. But if you put that same shark inside of a shark tank or a fish tank, the limits are in between 5 to 8 feet. Right? Now, why is it that he can grow, or she can grow, this shark can grow inside of an ocean and get up to 20 feet? Why is that? Because they have no limits around them. They don't have no one telling them that they can't be this or they can't be that, or they don't have anything that's limiting them. So with that being said, when it comes to yourself, you can't allow people or be in an environment that's limiting you. No, you can't do this. No, you can't be a doctor. No, you can't be a lawyer. No, you can't be a rapper. No, you can't be a model. Right? How you gonna do that? I couldn't do it. How you gonna do it? Right? You can't allow people to project their failures onto you. You cannot allow your, family members, friends to project their failures onto you. It just doesn't work that way. You're not gonna be able to become successful the way that you want to become when you start allowing people to put limits on you. So sometimes you have to isolate yourself to elevate yourself. And when you think about it, the people in the Bible, these strong individuals, your Moseses, your Jobs, right, Joshua's, all these individuals, they were in places by themselves to where God could talk to them, right, to where they was able to be spoken to. Because when you are around so many people, you got this in your ear. You got people talking to you. You got people telling you can't be this. You got loud music up. You keep watching TV. You're not in a place to where you can be spoken to. A place to where you can actually listen. So sometimes you have to isolate yourself to elevate yourself, right? You got to know exactly who you are. And what happens is a lot of people don't know who they are. A lot of people just don't. Just simple as that. A lot of people do not know who they are. So they fall for anything. They follow people. They become followers instead of being a leader because they need someone to lead them. But what happens is the blind leads the blind. A lot of people don't realize that the blind is leading the blind. So you got to know exactly who you are, or you're going to be led down the wrong path. You'll fall for anything, right? What type of people are you around? People, you got two types of people. You got chickens and you got eagles. Chickens are the people who are easily accessible. You know, chickens are the people who are clucking around with everybody. They all hang together. Birds of a feather flock together. I'm sure everybody heard that. Birds of a feather flock together. You know what I'm saying? And what happens is with an eagle soar alone. An eagle soar by themselves. An eagle don't need an entourage. An eagle don't need people to tell them that they're doing great. An eagle doesn't need you to congratulate him. An eagle hunt alone. And when eagles see other eagles, they're able to soar together because they're on the same level. So are the people you hanging around on the same level with you? Are the people you hanging around just feeding off of you? Are you an eagle hanging with chickens? You can't hang with, y'all don't have nothing in common. The only thing you have in common that you both are human beings, right? A chicken and an eagle, the only thing they have in common are they both are birds. They are both birds. Other than that, they don't got nothing in common. A chicken can't fly. So are you walking amongst chickens? Because if not, they're going to stunt your growth. You got to get around these right people. You got to get around like-minded individuals, right? So my next thing, you know, when it comes, see, here's what I'm trying to get y'all to understand is when it's your season, you got to change with the seasons, right? You got to change with the seasons. So when summer is coming, right, it actually get into that point. It don't just automatically boom, summer. Boom, we in summer. No, it don't just work like that, right? You got these actual things that start happening. You know, when fall is coming, you know, leaves start falling off, right? When winter is coming, you know, rather leaves start falling off and things start changing. The weather start getting cold. It starts to rain. You got to start changing with the seasons. You got to start changing as the season change. You're not just gonna up in one day become a millionaire. You're not just gonna up in one day, you know, well, I got this new job that I wanted, right? You gotta put in the work and you gotta put in the proper procedures to get to where you're trying to go. You got to make those changes. You got to make the adjustment. With that being said, another change that you have to make, you got to stop being negative. You got to start saying positive affirmations about yourself. Literally, look yourself in the mirror. I am great. I am beautiful. I am handsome. I am strong. I have a rich mentality. I am a multi-millionaire. I travel the world. I mean, whatever your positive, whatever the things that you want to do, you got to tell yourself that, right? You got to speak your life into existence. You have to. And that's the way we were designed to speak our lives into existence. You got to speak those things over yourself. You got to speak blessings over your life. Look, a poor mouth will equate to a poor life. You got to speak richness over your life. You got to speak health over your life. You got to speak the things that you want over your life, or else someone else is going to have you working for their dream that they're chasing. Someone else is going to have you to believe their thoughts of what they think. So you can work for that as well, right? So you got to start believing in yourself. But as you believe in yourself, those positive affirmations are like the fuel to help you believe in yourself, right? So there's 4 levels to success, right? And when I say 4 levels, I mean 4 actual steps that allow you to get to the main source of success. So number 1, you got to be fruitful. You got to be fruitful. Exactly what I just said earlier. Are your environment that you are in, is it allowing you to become productive? Is it allowing you, to produce? You got to be fruitful, right? You got to create something, whether that's a digital book, whether that's an actual book, whether that's a podcast. I mean, music. Produce something that people can buy. Produce something, right? Then number 2, you got to multiply that. So when you produce something, multiply that same product at multitudes, right? Or different multitudes. You have to continue to producing that same product at that same level multiple times. Multiply it, right? Then number 3, replenish. And what do I mean by replenish? Well, you want to distribute that product. See, inventory is not what's going to get you rich. Inventory has the potential to get you rich. So once you multiply that and you build up your inventory, now you got to distribute that same product. Now you got to push that product out. Now you got to put that product in different stores. And if you haven't got that far yet, hit the streets, right? curbside, pop-up shops, anywhere that allow you to set up your shop, right? Any platform that will allow you. Like, I'm gonna tell you straight up, with my books, I hit the curbside, right? I hit the curbside right at Slutty Vegan. I hit the curbside. I'm talking about, I'm standing up outside. Hey, look, I just became a self-published author. I'm an author of these books, Fairly Unequal, Rich Mentality. One is a motivation, metaphorical memoir, right? In a nice nutshell, I speak about systemic oppression. Like, you gotta have your sales pitch. You gotta have your pitch, and you gotta, even if it's not books, right? Even if it's not books, it can be anything, but you want to put yourself in position and in front of as many people as possible to where you can talk your talk and you can sell your product. And most importantly, replenish. Wherever you can, replenish. And the last one, man, subdue. And what I mean by subdue is you got to dominate the market. So take for instance, in the NBA, right? LeBron is arguably, maybe the best player in the NBA. But then you got Steph, then you got Kyrie, you know what I'm saying? Then you got James Harden, then you got Kevin Durant. You got all these other guys, and people are gonna have their preferences. And I'm not a basketball guy, by the way. Y'all probably know some more people, way more people than me. But what I'm saying is that you want to be the best. You want to subdue the market. You want to be the best at whatever you do. And even if you're not the best, by you in your mindset and you're trying to become the best, you're gonna produce a great product. You're gonna produce a great product. Why? Because in your mindset, you're the best. In your mindset, you're the greatest. You're the greatest. Because in your mindset, you have put there that I'm gonna subdue the market. So if you're gonna be an author, be the best author. If you're gonna be a motivational speaker, be the best motivational speaker that you can be. You got to be number one. And even if you're not number one, the fact that you're trying to be the best, you're gonna be good. You're gonna be great, right? So, number one, man, be fruitful. You want to multiply that, and once you multiply, replenish, sell it, get it out there, distribute, and then once you distribute, subdue, and those opportunities are gonna open up. I promise you. Right? So for instance, you got McDonald's. When you think about McDonald's, what you think about? Right? When you think about McDonald's, what do you think about? You think about the Big Mac, double cheeseburger, right? They look, that's a brand name moat. That's a brand name moat. Number two, Burger King. What you think about? A Whopper. That's another brand name moat. Steve Jobs, Apple. He created an Apple product. That's what you think about. When you think about Steve Jobs, you think about the Apple product that he has created, right? And Bill Gates, Microsoft. He created the first Microsoft product. So what I'm saying is, what are people gonna think about when they think about you? Right? When they think about me, it's rich mentality. Every time. That's my branding mode. Rich mentality. When you see me, rich mentality podcast, rich mentality attire, rich mentality book. So what are people gonna think about when they see you? When they think about you, right? It's your season. And I want y'all to understand that. Like, don't take that lightly. It's your season. Believe in yourself. Understand that you can do it. Understand that you are enough and you have a rich mentality. We wasn't just put here just to pay bills, get married and die. Right? We wasn't placed here just for that. We was placed here to do way more than that. We was placed here to do great things beyond measures. But what happens is, a lot of us don't understand that we're great, and a lot of us don't believe in us. So what you do is, you're going to end up working for somebody who believe in themselves. You're going to work for their dream. But that's why it stops here. And that's why everybody that's tuned into this podcast, y'all going to become entrepreneurs. And if you're not, you're going to have a high paying job, right? It's nothing wrong with working a 9 to 5. Don't get me wrong. Whatever works for you, that's what works for you. But what I am saying is, be beyond average. Be beyond average, right? Because we all have greatness within us, and we all have a rich mentality. So anybody who's been watching my podcast and been tuned into my podcast know that I have a segment on here about one way to make $1 million. So one way to make $1 million is open up a t-shirt company. Yeah, I said it. And I know it may seem so simple, but people have literally became millionaires from starting a t-shirt company and became $1 million, right? Or $1 billion brand. So with that being said, create that t-shirt brand, create that t-shirt company. And what I mean is, when you create it, you got to start from every little step. Create your brand name. Create your brand name. That's number one. That's the first step. Once you create that brand name, you want to get it printed on your shirts, right? You want to figure out, do you want vinyl print? Do you want screen print, right? Or do you want, patch print? Whatever you want, figure out that and get it printed up. Get it printed up. And what happens is, a lot of people say, well, man, I can't do that. I don't got no money to start no business. I don't got no money to get no t-shirts printed up. I got you, bro. Pre-sale. You want to start around you. Start around with the people around you. Okay, cool. All you got to do is open up your Shopify or Teespring, whatever one. Do your research. I'm just going to give you 2 recommendations, Shopify or Teespring. You can either do print on demand company, or if you have your own, company who will print your shirt up. And what happens is you can charge, hey, look, this shirt gonna be $35, whatever. You basically take the money that they already paid you, get the shirt, made, and you take on the back end, stack that money up so you can get more shirts, and they get their product. You have more money to make more shirts. Boom. Now you got your t-shirt business, and all you have to do is multiply. So you was fruitful, you created a product, then you multiplied, and now you just got to continue to replenish and subdue the market, dominate. That's it. Use that money to buy more, right? Use that money to buy more. And what people don't, and also if you go the Shopify route, and you start getting overflow with these orders, and you start getting overflow with people. Look, you can utilize Klarna, and this is only if you go the Shopify route. I just want to make sure I recertify that. This is only if you go the Shopify route. So what I'm saying is that you can utilize Klarna, for a cheap paying price. So with that being said, you'll probably end up paying, it depends on how big the order is, but you can pay it bi-weekly, right? You can pay it bi-weekly. You don't have to pay the full price, and it allows you to start this business from ground zero until you're able to buy shirts on hand and in bulk. But you can start a business literally with no money. So check this out. Say if you say, okay, so you're looking for, how much can you sell your shirt for? Let's just say you want to start off small, $15. Okay, you sell your shirt for $15 and you sell it to 70,000 people. Now, mind y'all, 70,000 people may sound like a lot, but honestly, it's not. 70,000 people is honestly not a lot, right? It's over 7 billion people in the world. That's not even 1%. That's not even 1%. You start your following, or you just start promoting your stuff on, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, whatever the case is. I recommend TikTok, right? Because the algorithms are wide open. But with that being said, you sell $15, to 70,000 people, right? A $15 shirt to 70,000 people. That would be $1 million. That simple. A $15 shirt or a $15 idea to 70,000 people, and that's going to give you $1 million. So what I'm saying is that you don't have to have money to start this business. You can do it right now. You can pre-sell your shirt. Whatever you want to use, Teespring, Shopify, whatever the case is. Utilize a print on demand company, or figure out how you want to get your shirts printed, or whatever the case is, right? Pre-sell that. Take the money that they're giving you. No, do not buy a cheeseburger. No, do not go buy weed. No, do not go buy whatever. No, that money is not for you. It is for your business until you become a profitable business. But right now, you're coming up. So with that being said, y'all, there you have it. One way to make $1 million, man. Y'all get going with them ideas. Y'all get going with that new book. Y'all get going with that new product, whatever the case is. But remember, you got to be fruitful. You got to multiply, replenish, and subdue the market. Subdue the market. But with that being said, man, y'all see my books right here, man. Fairly Unequal, Rich Mentality, Traumatized by Love, 8 Steps to Self Publishing a Successful Book. Man, I appreciate everyone who has bought a book, because I have been receiving a lot of support. I just want to let y'all know I appreciate that. I thank y'all. I love y'all. right? And anybody who hasn't, make sure y'all tune into my TikTok. And for the ones who are on my TikTok, make sure y'all subscribe to this YouTube channel, man. I appreciate everybody. If you already know what I'm about to say, keep a rich mentality. Peace.